Be the change you want to see. Make a difference by giving your money a purpose, a mission to do good. Welcome to Money with Mission, where we talk to individuals, businesses, and organizations who are taking the lead and whose actions are impacting the well-being of their communities and the world at large.
Welcome back to Money with Mission. Today I have a good friend of mine, Billy Keels, all the way from Barcelona, Spain, talking with us. Billy is on a mission to help those high wage earners and or retirees that have been forgotten by so many in society. He's determined to help you feel comfortable and confident going against conventional wisdom by being okay with investing in real assets beyond your backyard. As a long-distance real estate investor, Billy is utilizing his skills that he has developed over the last 23 years as a happy, successful corporate employee at some of the world's largest marketing IT multinational companies to becoming an entrepreneur. As part of his journey, he's hyper-focused on consistently helping you to create new alternatives for your life so that you can also be happy going into your job or not. With a desire to add as much value to each interaction that he has, the 20 plus years of travel throughout some 86 countries, working with multiple global currencies, his ability to fluently speak 5 languages, and his passion for living and working across cultures are just some of the qualities that make Billy unique and his ability to serve each and every person that he comes into contact with. I'm so impressed, and I've known you for a long time. How are you, Billy?
Hey, Felicia, I'm doing very well. And I'm just super excited. Like, I'm really, really excited about this conversation. And every time I interact and have a conversation with you, it's just a lot of fun. And so I'm really, really looking forward to this one.
Me too, actually. So I'm sure, so everybody's just heard Billy has an accent like everybody else in the United States. He doesn't sound like, and I knew you might have been worried that, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to understand this guy. Billy sounds like everybody else, right? So
yeah, they still may not understand me though, but that's okay.
I'm going to say this. One of the most impressive things, I was in Barcelona, I visited Billy, and we were talking. Then he got a phone call, and all of a sudden he starts speaking in Spanish, and it sounded like, oh my gosh, this is my friend, and he's doing this, and sounded authentic. How did this happen? How did you get to Barcelona?
Yeah, so you know what? It's kind of it's an interesting story. It actually was the short version of the story is I got here on a 1-year sabbatical. The thing of it is that 1-year sabbatical started 20 years ago.
Okay.
Because so kind of interesting. Like, so right out of college, I had this amazing opportunity, Felicia, and I was working and traveling throughout some 58 different countries. And during that time, I had the opportunity to work with a lot of Fortune 500 CEOs. And these were people that you would read about on the front page of major magazines, right?
Okay.
And it was amazing. And I did that for 5 years, 58 countries. And the thing is, I kind of got burnt out and I got a little bit jaded as well, because I was thinking, wow, I was staying in these 5-star hotels. It was amazing. And I didn't really care about flying from one continent to the next because I was missing friends, weddings, their babies being born and stuff like that. But I'd seen so much of the world, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio, and I come from very, very humble means. Like, both of my parents worked 2 jobs just so we could live in the right school districts and have access to the right schools and stuff like that. But after that 5 years in 58 countries, I didn't see myself doing a normal quote unquote 9-to-5 job because I had just seen so much. So I got accepted to university at a university called the Sorbonne in Paris. Mm-hmm. And I was there. I learned more about the French language and culture. I learned how to salsa dance, believe it or not. And then I also learned more about wines. And so at that point, I didn't want to go back to the United States. And so I was very, very fortunate because I worked with some very influential people before during that 5 years in 58 countries. And they were always like, hey, if you ever want a job, give us a call, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was kind of, crazy enough to give them a call. And so I ended up getting in the IT sector, not going back to the United States, but actually moving from Paris to the south of France in a town called Montpellier. I lived there for about 2.5 years. And then I moved to Italy, where I was there to start up a sales team selling remotely. And then I left Italy. I was the only non-Italian, which was actually pretty funny. I learned a lot there as well. And then I ended up going back to France, ended up meeting a very cool, cute Spanish woman, and she's from Barcelona. And I moved to Barcelona. We got married a couple years later, a couple kids later. And so that is how my 1-year sabbatical turned into 20 years, a marriage, and 2 kids.
that's to me a very exciting life. Not everybody would have the courage to do that. You were traveled to your 58 countries with your home base at that point in Ohio,
It was in St. Louis, Missouri, actually.
St. Louis. Okay.
So I moved to St. Louis. I was in the Show Me State, which was pretty awesome.
Okay. And so now you're in Barcelona. That does take a lot of courage, honestly. That's really exciting. How did you start your real estate investing career?
Well, that was also kind of by accident because I don't come from a family that had anything. Like the only thing I knew about real estate before I got started was at the end of our 1-year leases, we for some reason were tended to move to a new place and get another 1-year lease. And so I didn't know anything about real estate at all, had no references. But like a lot of people, they were influenced by this little purple book. And mine started out of frustration because I'm a recovering perfectionist, one of those straight A students. So I always did what I was told. And and one of the things that I was told is, as you're climbing the corporate ladder, make sure that you are preparing for retirement. And the way that you do that was you maximize your 401k, your IRAs. And I'd never even gotten to the point in my family, like where I come from, it was all about like, if you saved money, that was considered investing because you actually saved money. So then when I got to the point where I was actually able to save money, then I was surrounded by people that were investing. And so I maxed out my investments, which was 401k. And then what I couldn't do, then I put it in an IRA. And so the thing is, in 2000, I'd been working for about 4 or 5 years and my stock portfolio crashed because of the dot-com bubble. And so that kind of happened. And then in 2008, a similar thing happened with the Great Recession. And so my parents always told me, Felicia, like if something bad happens and it happens once, like shame on the person that tricked you. But if it happens twice, then shame on you. And so I'd kind of like Wall Street had let me down twice, or I let myself down twice. And I was looking for something new. I was looking to create new alternatives. And I just happened to come across that little purple book. And I was told, like, when I read the book, I was like, wow, this is really cool. I can make $200-300 a month. It is a lot more control for me. Yeah. And that can get me back on the path of being an A student and all that kind of jazz. So I got into it by accident and out of a lot of pain from like just entrusting my financial life and retirement to someone else called Wall Street.
One of my big things is putting your money in a suitcase and handing it over to somebody called your financial advisor at the 401k company, who your business, your company that you work for, invest with. You have no idea who those people are. No idea. And they may or may not care about you. I won't make that judgment, although I make that judgment on a regular basis.
You're just not going to do it today.
I won't do it.
That's okay.
And when your money goes away, and you're the one sitting there looking at it.
Yep.
That's what I love about real estate syndication. And you kind of went about it. You had your problems, your pains, and now you're kind of looking at it as, how do I keep other people in my same position from having the same thing? Is that correct?
That's a lot of it, right? Because it's just, at the end of the day, when you go through this kind of pain and you realize that you don't have to go through the same type of pain, and it's like when you know a secret, and if you could tell other people, like it would help them improve their situation, or at least give them the option. Yeah. Like I feel like now that's where I am. And because I've always wanted to share things and I wanted to connect with people, it just seems like the next logical step is this new world that I found. I want to share it with the people, especially people that I know, like, love, and trust. So yeah.
Which so many people think that real estate investors and people that have lots of real estate holdings are not good people. They're slumlords and they're that kind of thing. But hear what Billy said. He wants to share it. Same thing with me. We want to share. We know something, and we want other people to know. You can do with it what you want, but we want you to know. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. Billy has a podcast called
the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels. And I was just going to say, so everyone with Money with Mission needs to go check out the episode with Dr. Felicia Fro, because she actually was over there and she crushed it, as she always does, and shared loads and loads of knowledge. So check it out. Dr. Felicia Fro was a guest on the Going Long podcast with Billy Keels, where we talk about really investing long distance, so people feel much more comfortable and confident investing beyond their backyard, because that's kind of what I've been doing for the last, I guess it's 7-8 years at this point.
And are your investments in the United States, your investments in Europe? Where are you doing in your investing?
So it's kind of strange, but I live in Europe, and to date, 100% of my investments, whether they're active or passive, have been and are in the United States of America in different locations, but that, which is why I think long distance investing and being able to do that it's really a mindset thing. And so living in Europe, I'm 100% vested in alternative quote unquote investments in the United States.
Okay, so let's say you're talking to somebody in your next, just how you're talking to your next door neighbor there at your house, and they want to invest in the United States. What if they want to do it on their own? What would you tell them they needed to do?
Well, I guess the first thing that I would want to know is why they would want to do it on their own. And then we go through all of those things, the first thing I would recommend that they do is be crystal clear on why they want to invest in the United States. Like what is it about the United States and that potential that fits into your overall philosophy of investment, right?
Okay.
Like, because that's the very first thing that they have to be clear on. And then I would want them to be clear on, specifically when they're looking to invest beyond their backyard, do they want to do it by themselves? Do they want to do it with other people? Are they looking for yield? Are they looking for appreciation play? Are they looking for quality of life? Do they want a place that they can just go visit once a year? So I want them to get really hyper clear on why they want to make that decision to go to that specific location, which is the United States. That would be the first point, without a doubt.
And the best thing about what you just did is you started them to think. So Joe next door came and said, I'm going to invest in the United States. I saw this little house on Zillow and I'm going to go invest in it. And you're going to, hold on a second, Joe. That's not the first thing you do. Let's have a conversation about that and really look at what you are trying to accomplish. As investing long distance is not easy. It's not easy to do on your own. There's a lot to get done. That's why Billy is doing it and helping other people doing it by finding deals. Correct? Tell me, let's let you explain what you do. How do you do what you do?
Yeah, so I guess the first thing that I was doing was, like you said in the beginning, like I was just trying to solve my own challenges, my own problems, because I was fed up with Wall Street and I wanted to have more control over my life. And I came across that little purple book, and then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go buy property here in Barcelona. Makes a lot of sense, until I started doing the numbers, and I was like, well, hang on a second. I was all distraught because I was like, wait a minute, the book says it actually be making like $200 or $300, and it looks like I have to actually pay 50 euros or $80 a month, and I was like, this is no fun. Like, why would I do that? But I'm surrounded by a lot of people, because culturally, people are like, well, yeah, you pay to keep the property, because eventually you're gonna sell that property and you're gonna get all that money back. And I'm like, yeah, but for the next 15 or 20 years, you're gonna be paying to own money. Something. Like, that's not called an asset. That's called a liability. So I kind of started there. So I was figuring out how I solve my own issues and challenges, and I bought smaller multifamily properties, and then I was making a whole bunch of money, and I was just like, wow, this is really crazy, because I was money focused at that point in time.
In the United States?
In the United States, yeah. So
okay.
I've only purchased in the United States. And then what happened was, when I was doing that, it was like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of cool. And so I started also realizing that all of this corporate experience that I've been doing in the last 20 some odd years, I mean, led teams of people across Europe, Middle East, and Africa, managed budgets of, $75, $80 million, and worked in Latin America and worked on a global level. And so I was using all of these corporate skills. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm building my own business, and I'm like having these rental properties, but it kind of feels like a business. It's taken care of, customer centric, and you got to build systems and processes. And it was really, really cool. And I was like, oh, wow, so I can do this. And as I'm explaining to all of my friends of what's happening, these good things that were happening, some of the bad things that were happening, well, a lot of the bad things that were happening, my friends were living through this with me. And so one day, one of my friends was like, well, hey man, can I invest with you? Like, I've got some extra cash. It seems like you're making a lot of money doing this. I know you. I know your work ethic. I know what you're all about. And I'd like to invest with you. And I was like, well, no. And he's looking at me like, well, why not? And I'm like, well, number one, I have my own money. And number two, from where I come from, you don't mix friends and money, because that just ends in a really, really bad situation. So I was like, nope.
Okay. Yeah.
And so then another friend, like a month later, I'm doing, I'm freaking out, I'm geeking out, I'm telling him about all this stuff because I'm super excited. And another friend was like, hey, well, I've got some cash with, I'm interested in investing with you. Could I invest with you? And I was like, no. What is with these friends of mine asking me if they can give me money? Like, I don't need their money. I've got my own, and da, da, da. And so then a third friend in like 3 months, same kind of thing. Like, I'm going to, and I'm like, well, hang on a second. This is weird. Like, I like these guys. They like me. And why are they asking me? So then it's like in my mind, I'm going, there must be something here, because these guys have cash that they want to, and we didn't even talk about how much it was, but they just wanted to do it. And so one thing led to the next, and ended up figuring out how to be able to structure things properly and blah, blah, blah. So I kind of got out of my own way. I got some legal professionals and I got some tax professionals, and they helped me figure out, okay, this would be something that's okay. Got a lot of documentation done and contracts signed. And that was a whole like growth process for me, because I felt really, really uncomfortable with it. But eventually, and to answer your question directly, like, because I went through that experience, I started realizing like, oh my gosh, there's something of value that I like doing that other people are interested in finding out about. And they're willing to actually entrust me with their dreams and their goals, which is, translated in capital. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to actually I'm going to do something to be able to create value for a lot of different people. And so then like what started out as trying to solve my own problem eventually is now trying to, number one, shed the light to other people that, hey, listen, there are other things that you can be doing where you can actually, it's not an 800 number that you're calling, like at a name, whatever financial institution you want to call, like you can actually speak to me, right? And so speak to me or my team. And so now it is really about, from that place of maybe pain or problem, is now being able to go out and shed the light on other people and help them understand that they can be a part of something where they can get closer to their dreams and goals much faster in a way that is much more intimate and closer. And so it's really being able to work with people that are based anywhere in the world that they want to be, and they have something that's in common, which is a desire to have those dreams manifest itself through assets that are based in the United States.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, but I want you to think about this question, because if I came up to you and I know you and we've been talking and you've been telling me about your investments in the United States, and I'm thinking about doing it, I'm going to go home and say, how does he manage all that? We'll be right back. Money with Mission is a real estate and business investment company that specializes in finding projects that have the potential to give you a great return on your investment dollar and make an impact in the communities where we invest. Make a difference in your life and the lives of others. Go to moneywithmission.com to learn more. All right, you guys, welcome back. My question to Billy was, he lives in Barcelona, Spain. He loves living in Barcelona, Spain. He's still in his corporate position and he is investing in the United States. And he has come to the point where he's accepting money from his friends to invest also. It was scary. It's very scary to take money from people that you know, and it's scary to take money from people you don't know. But when you know them and you know what they're trying to accomplish, it's a very big responsibility. How do you manage, not that part, not that psychology part of having other people's money, but you're in Barcelona and you've got these properties in projects in the United States. Tell me about how's that working? How did you ever get there to trust that somebody's taking care of your stuff in the United States?
Yeah, so it hasn't been perfect, right? Because I don't think there is anything that is perfect. It's been a lot of just taking action. And when I started taking action, it was cool. I mentioned earlier that there was a lot of money coming in, and that was really, really cool. At the same time, there were definitely challenges, because when you don't know what you don't know, and I wasn't surrounded by anybody that I could ask, and I didn't have the wherewithal at that point in time to look out and surround myself with people that had already traveled this path. So I stumbled a lot in the beginning. I remember trying to manage properties literally from Barcelona. And one of the things that I knew that, like, just to give you a really concrete example, like I had a duplex, and I knew that there were families there, but I didn't have even anyone to watch the properties. And I was like, well, what if something happens? Because I'd heard, the toilets could break or whatever. Yeah. And so, but I did know to get an answering systems, like a system that was there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so I was ready to dispatch that, or find a plumber or find an electrician or whatever. But that wasn't probably the best way to do it, but it was the best way that I knew how to do it at the time. Okay. And so then something else would happen, and then I have to figure out how to fix that problem. And so it kind of started there. And then as I started recognizing that there were other people that were doing this, and there were other people that knew more than I did, then being part of groups and surrounding myself with people, paying for mentorship, paying for coaching, online programs and things like that, then I started gaining much more knowledge. And then I started putting process behind things. And then I started looking for the best people that I knew how to find, the best teams in the locations where I was already situated, because then what that did for me is it allowed me to start to sleep better at night. Yeah. And there is no ROI that I've found yet that I can place on return on sleep. Yeah. And so when I started figuring that out and started progressing and made some mistakes and started fixing them and surrounding myself with other people, that's what really helped to start moving in the direction that we are, like, on that trajectory today. So
Gotcha.
hopefully that answers the question.
That very much answered the question. Thank you so much. And what I liked was that you didn't start with where you are right now. You had to learn and get to where you are right now. You spent a lot of sleepless nights, which you trying to keep Joe, your next door neighbor, from doing by having him just go out there. It's like, yeah, man, let me help you find a property. Joe was not sleeping, will not be happy with you. So understanding that you need some people to help you that you can trust, and it's a trial and error. You get a recommendation, you get them, they're working for you, and you find out they're not working for you. You got to fix that. Nothing, it seems, is 100% perfect. We just have to pay attention and fix as we go along, learn as we go along. Making mistakes, as we've learned as real estate investors, is the way we learn. And when something's going bad, the best thing about it is, as an investor, you can call Billy. As an investor, you can call Felicia. It is not the 800 number at name your financial institution and the customer service rep who has no idea what you're invested in, has no idea why.
Right.
So,
and they have 2 minutes to answer that call and be on the next one anyway. So there's going to be a resolution. It may not be the one that you like, but there's going to be one very quickly.
Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. That's really, really good. What else are you doing, Billy, in your life? You've got a lot of things going on, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are definitely a lot of things that we are focused on. And today it's really, number one is continuing to build out our platform and be able to connect with more like-minded people. And a lot of those people are really high-paid professionals that are in the IT space, also to dealing with a lot and working with a lot of people that are in the telco space, and medical professionals as well recently. And a lot of that is because we have a similar challenge. Like, a lot of times people will say, well, yeah, if you're making money, there's no issues. And I come from a place where I used to think, wow, if you have money, then everything must be perfect and there's no big issues. And then you start realizing that life issues still are around you, right? I mean, you still can have issues with relationships or issues with health and all those kinds of things. And so one of the things that we're really trying to continue to help people do is find those opportunities that are going to help you get to your goal, whatever that benefit is. Like I said, quality of life, more family time, making a little extra money because you feel like you want to be able to travel around the world, or you want to take a 1-year sabbatical. And so when I'm doing that, now that I have a very different process and a very different way of going out to build the team and how we're working with our investors, it's really about how do we go out and find the absolute best in the business and the world-class operators, because someone like me, I love living in Europe and I don't see that changing any time. And I really, really love the assets and the opportunities that exist in the United States. So as a conduit, we're going to continue to make sure that we're helping our clients. We're going to make sure that we're helping our residents, and we're going to make sure that we are teaming them with the best operators in the business and trying to solve problems. And like recently, one of the big problems I've personally had that I've started solving and I'm helping other people solve is, what do you do as a non-real estate professional when you are earning a strong salary, and I mean multiple 6-figure salary, and so that you can actually continue to keep more of your capital. And I've been working on solutions for that. Pretty much is a number of the things that we're working on. There's other stuff too, but family life. But I think we'll keep it more what's related to how we're focusing with money.
Well, I think that what you're pointing out is a couple of things. One, were you talking about taxes? Keep your money as opposed to paying so much in taxes. So there's ways to do that with real estate. But what I like more is that people want money, but they want money for a reason. It's not just money to have for money's sake, usually. So we spend a lot of time working with people to understand what their goal is. Why do you want this? And probably say, if we got somebody, both of us would be this way, that somebody who just wants money for money's sake, it's not a person for me. It's not a person for Billy. That's not our people. We want to help you achieve a goal. Yes, it might be $1 million and we can help you get there, but why? Why do you want that? Yep. That's us getting to know you so that we can really work to help you get and put you in the right projects. If I don't have a project and I know Billy's got a project that can help you with your problem, get to where you want to go, I'm going to let you talk to Billy. Billy has a resident, a client that has a problem that he knows I've got a project that might fit them better. This is just how we work in this business. This is really, it's about you, the investor, getting what you need.
Yeah, actually, if you'll allow me, Felicia, because one of the things that I really appreciate about you is because it's not lip service, like you really are that way. And that's one of the things that I love every interaction that we have together because it is this abundant mindset. And especially when, having interactions with you and your entire Money with Mission family that is here listening to you week after week, they're getting the opportunity to really learn and be influenced by you in such a positive way. Because I recognize that I come from a very scarcity mindset, but that's because most of the way that I grew up and the people that I was around came from the similar mindset. And so when you have every opportunity to be influenced and listen, you start recognizing well, yes, I can't particularly help this person, but I know that Felicia can, because she's focused not only on this particular segment, but with these types of individuals. And it's about making sure that how can I help Felicia in her goals, because has a kind heart. She's looking to do good and looking to serve a certain type of individual. And it's just one of those things that's wonderful, which is why I know everybody continues to come back week after week and listen to you, to be influenced by you and have this real abundance mindset, so that more of us can move forward together and enjoy being surrounded by other positive people.
Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. I was not quite drippy, but I appreciate it.
It's true. It's true.
Good guy. When I'm not doing well, just as we sometimes can be in our mood and our emotions, Billy's a guy that can lift me up pretty much every single time. So
you're awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. So what do you have for our listeners so that they can get to know you a little bit more? And you can contact him in multiple ways, but he's got a gift for you. It's a #1 Amazon bestseller that you can buy on Amazon if you want to, but today he's going to give it to the Money with Mission listeners. And that book is?
It's Grow Your Money the Smart Way. So you'll be able to pick that up. And what it really does, especially helps those that are looking to understand more about long distance investing, meaning you can live wherever you want to live, really honestly, and be able to connect with teams of people that can help deliver and help you get to your goals and dreams much faster. It talks about my own story, and absolutely happy to provide that, Felicia, to you and to your Money with Mission family here on your resources page. So
I appreciate it. So go to moneywithmission.com, resources, and you will be able to get Billy's #1 Amazon bestseller, Grow Your Money the Smart Way. Billy, thank you so much. Really had a good time. Billy's other contact information will be in the show notes. So he's got a website, he's got his podcast. Tell us the podcast again.
The Going Long podcast with Billy Keels. And I know since I'm not going to probably be able to say anything else, I just want to say, I appreciate you so much, Felicia. And I really am really happy for you and seeing what you're doing with Money with Mission and the lives that you're positively impacting. So I know it's something that you gave a lot of thought to, and it's something that you pour your heart into. And I'm glad to see that this is happening and you're making such great impact. So congrats.
Thank you. And I didn't tell you before, but our grocery store grand opening was Monday. Grocery store in Tulsa, Yay. Oasis Fresh Market, first grocery store in North Tulsa in over 10 years.
Congrats. Awesome.
You guys will be able to see, I put on Facebook, or it's going up on Facebook soon, a video that shows you the grocery store. It's beautiful. I love the thing. It's really
Congratulations.
nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we will see you again soon. Take care.
You've been listening to Money with Mission. There are projects happening right now where you can make a great return while positively impacting the lives of others. To learn more about today's guest or to download 7 steps to building resilient wealth for women, visit www.moneywithmission.com.
I hope you enjoyed the interview and are inspired to give your money a mission. Until next time, send your investment dollars into the world to bring you a financial return and improve the lives of others.